Yeah, we need to take a breath. We were counting till 8 now, but in the next performance, the numbers are going to be super important. We might even go higher than 8. Let's applaud our amateur actors, the change makers. And Hamza.
All right. I should look for some news to publish in Sherwood News. There are some news about drought in the country, but it's boring. Students of the local school participated in the competition. Again. This page is about old people dying, so cliché. No one was born, of course. What am I supposed to write? Nothing happens here. Okay, the local priest is trying to encourage people to have more children. That's an interesting title. I might look into it.
Genesis 1:28. God blessed them and said to them, be fruitful and increase in number. Fill the earth and subdue it. Rule over the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky, and over every living creature that moves on the ground.
Hey, Joseph, is that true that you're expecting a kid?
Well, we will have a baby.
That's wonderful, congrats. Hey, did you hear that Joseph and Mary will have a baby?
Really? Oh my god, that's amazing.
So happy for them.
Did you hear the news? The Smiths are expecting a baby.
Oh.
Joseph, we'll have a baby. Congratulations.
Well, actually
oh
not
my
yet.
god. Mary, I heard you're expecting a child. If you need any help, just tell me. I still have a baby bed left. You can have it if you want. Oh, congratulations.
My people, God bless you and go with peace. Amen.
Amen.
Something happened. Okay, let's see what happens 2 weeks later.
Oh, hello, honey. Your yard is the cleanest.
Thank you so
My,
much.
oh, it looks so beautiful.
Did you hear the amazing news?
Which news?
About the Smiths. They're expecting a baby.
Old story. You know what? They are expecting twins.
No. They're expecting twins. Have you seen her baby belly? It's huge.
Well, judging from that side, it's possible. But you know what would be cool? 4. My cousin had 4 babies. Imagine, oh, these cuties, 4 of them, like identical. 1,
We
2,
never
3.
had this unusual.
Oh, that would be so.
I would be happy for them.
Cher would
4
deserve
kids,
4
yes.
kids, right?
5.
5?
What about 5? Let's make it 5.
5. Oh, okay. Let's make it 5. Let's pray for them. Let's go to church. Ooh, 5. And baby is huge. And she is huge. And I'm telling you one thing. Sherwood will be great again. Woo! For Sherwood!
For Sherwood! I can wait! Oh God, my eyes!
Oh my god, it's already 10. How? These idiots actually believed it. I can't even... I'm gonna get so much money for this article. At this rate, it might go international.
Were born in Sherwood. A local young woman, Mary Smith, set a world record by giving birth to 10 newborn babies on the 5th of May in Sherwood. The record is unique, the first time in history.
10 sikrek születtek Sherwoodban.
Też szlitnią urodziło się w Sherwood.
stabilito un record mondiale dalla luce 10 bambini appena nati il 5 maggio a Sherwood. Il record è unico, la prima volta nella storia.
Donate the family. Donate the family. Donate. 10 please. 10 please. Anything can happen.
My dear Sherwoodians, some days ago I had a vision. But now, this is not about vision nor dreams anymore. This is about actions. We have to help the Smith family. This is the most important thing for us right now. Please, I know that you can. I believe in you, Sherwoodians, and I know that you will help them. Today, 10 twins, but tomorrow 20. And we will never stop. In this way, we can make Sherwood great again.
Now, let's see how the Smith family is doing so far. It's weird. I don't actually seem to find any news about the family at all. I should probably Google which hospital or hospital were the kids born in.
None of our hospitals reported the birth of the 10 twins. Not even one child from this family.
That's weird. Maybe they had them at home. Okay, no worries. It all started at the church. So, have they been baptized yet?
Excuse me, I swear on the Holy Bible, I haven't seen them in the church for a couple of months.
What happened with the donations? What did the family spend it on?
They never showed up, and we're still collecting them.
Did anyone actually see these babies at all?
I don't even know where my wife is. But wait. There they are.
No! Get him! He can't get away with this!
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. Okay, I invite you to come on stage and take the ball. seat, any of the chairs here by the side. It's also fine. Now it's a new place, very, very more comfortable. I will stay here and maybe initiate the discussion from here. Earlier when we were playing, it was on the same level, but of course it's a different height. Okay, so this is our play. This is the play that we developed together based on a real story. What was this story about? Can somebody tell me? What is it about? What happened in the play? You can explain? Yeah?
Fake news.
Fake news, What was the fake news? What was it?
10 babies. Yeah.
10 babies, 10 identical twins, 10 twins were born.
Not the baby, but the whole pregnancy.
Yeah. The whole pregnancy was fake already, and not just the 10. Okay. Yeah.
Rumors.
Rumors. Okay. So it was said by people. Anybody else? Yes.
There was also sort of pressure to become parents.
Yeah, peer pressure, I would say.
Peer pressure. Okay. So why do you think this couple decided to not correct the village, the Sherwoodians?
Money.
Because they were so happy about the fact, because of the that the city didn't report any newborns. So that's
So they
why
were
they
happy.
were happy, and when they heard the rumors spread, and they were like, oh, and
They didn't want to turn them down, you mean?
yeah, and they become shy and try to not take the happiness.
Yeah, like ruin this happiness. Yes?
I think that the couple, it's very ashamed.
So it was not ruining the happiness, but the shame that we don't
Shame
have.
and afraid of the society in the city.
Yes?
But we also saw that the money was being collected, so maybe it had to do with money, they took some money, and that's why they didn't say it was a lie, maybe it was a cooperation with the church, I don't know.
Okay.
Something with
Yeah,
money.
so somebody said not ruining the happiness of the others, being ashamed, but also maybe the money, yes?
Being local heroes, the couple in the beginning, and then fear in the end. So both reasons not to say the truth.
Yeah, everybody was already offering, like, I have a baby card, I have everything,
Yes.
oh, we are hugging you in. Okay, yes?
I think it's like once you were put on the spot, and everybody like puts you on a pedestal, and then you don't want to like fail the expectations of others, and everybody's like making these big plans for you that sometimes you don't even want. So you just like kind of like try to lay low so people don't notice you, but then this would happen. Everybody's wondering what's happening to the babies. So it's this whole thing.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, there are hands in the back. Baby boyfriend after Alexander.
The whole situation, not just the pregnancy, but the whole situation in the city was from a fact, or how to say, from a moment so personal for the family to get their own child. It became the center of the Sherwood. There was a role suddenly for everybody, for the church, for the mayor, for the journalists. So suddenly it was not private anymore, but it was really a common affair. So of course it changed completely the concept of
Everybody was taking out a bit of part for himself or herself. Okay, Alessia.
So also, maybe it's not shown as a major part of the play, but the woman had all of a sudden disappeared. So either she was in hiding or there was something else happening, especially since the husband is going around and maybe pocketing some money, I don't know. So we may assume that she's either in danger or she cannot be socially safe.
Yeah, we don't know what happened, right? But of course, judging from the fact that she disappeared and we just saw her shadow later on, and people talking about it, there are big question marks concerning her.
I would even say it's kind of interesting how they said, let's make Sherwood great again. And I mean, it's obviously resembles Trump and his big slogan of making America great again. But I would even say that it's very interesting how the whole city would depend on one woman who was not safe to have a pregnancy of 10 twins to make the city great again. So I think it's just an interesting theme and an interesting topic to work on.
God mentioned gossip here, right?
Oh,
so
yeah.
Like how things were passed from one place to the other. How did it pass? Who initiated the whole thing and where did it end up? Do you remember what channels we had and how it escalated?
I mean, it happened in the church, like the
there were some rumors between the small community, but then it transferred to the local journalists and then up to an international level sharing this story.
Okay. Yeah, what were the channels that it was going? It was online, offline? Yeah? Some of them you could see a ding, 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 ding. I hope you also heard the news that it's 10. Maybe you had a message about it. But basically, yeah, and in real case story, it was also going through WhatsApp messages, and this is how it became to journalists, like citizen journalism, right? And that part of it too. Okay, how did it turn out that it was fake, that it was not true?
Because then they couldn't verify the facts. There was no registration of the babies. They never saw the babies at the hospital. They couldn't find the parents, so there was nothing to prove it.
So the fact checking was actually questioning, and then when did it happen? This fact checking? Months later.
When journalists actually wanted to write something about the babies, how they are, or something like that, and just then the journalists thought, oh, okay, I will do a little research.
So much later, the fact checking was not done at the beginning, right? But much later, when the news were already international. Okay, I was not sure if somebody would like to say something extra. Have you seen something similar, like fake news? Have you met fake news also? Well, maybe like, yeah, probably yes. But have you met fake news earlier?
The Norwegian state media is full of it.
Yeah, okay. All right. So you, what about the others? Do you find a lot of news that turn out to be fake? Yes.
Every day. I guess anyone can say that. And the thing is that from what we see and from what we hear from many decades ago, it's really common in times of crisis for people to turn, first of all, to tradition, religion, to, let's say, conventional ethics, and fake news tend to spread even more in this time. So I guess right now, which is a crisis time due to COVID and more, fake news are spreading. I know that in Greece they are. I have heard that in Hungary they are even more. So, yes, yeah.
Okay, you mentioned also now during COVID times, more of these fake news are coming around.
It's a crisis time.
I see.
Say crisis time in general, and COVID time it's a crisis time.
Okay, did you also you mentioned every day you meet?
Yeah.
What topics do you usually meet fake news about? What are the topics that are addressing? So crisis times, it was also said pandemia related?
Actually every topic.
War.
Fake news, about food, health, politics, some celebrities, like it's everywhere.
Okay, you mentioned war.
War. Let's go to war, and then the people are joining the media.
How can you recognize that they are fake?
Fact checking.
Fact checking. How when?
Go to the sources. I mean, usually when it's fake news, there is no sources, but still it's possible to. Where does this come from, and is this any reality? Is it any base in reality, or?
So going all back to the real source, right? Like where it was initiated.
Also to comparing on different sites from the different sources.
Making comparisons, what is written here, what is written there. Yes.
In our case in Portugal, sorry to interrupt someone. In most of the case, if the website is from Brazil, it's fake.
So if you trust that source or not, right?
Yeah.
Or found in Facebook news.
So the source.
Yes.
Of course, it's also which sources you choose to trust and which you don't.
I would also say sometimes you need to read more than the title, because there's a lot of times people like the title is woman. I don't know, Portuguese woman at the airport that was bombed. And then you go and read it, and it's like the woman was at the airport the day before of the bombing. So I think sometimes because we just read the titles, we assume stuff, and we need to really read it to understand that it's not actually what the title is saying. That's clickbait. But in a sense, it kind of promotes false advertisement. So it's kind of.
But you need to read it.
But I mean,
yeah, but most of people just read the title.
I think a big problem problem with my generation is that we read stuff and we don't research about it. So we
But
don't
if you
question what we're reading.
Research about
So if we go through the news sometimes and we really like question what we're reading and we see the title of like, is this true? If we question it, it makes a big difference.
But if you open a newspaper from there, you will see the title and the content. It's different. Yes, you need to read it.
Yeah.
It's not fake.
But I would say, I would like
catch
to
your
add
attention.
But I would say sometimes it can be fake.
I would add something because we are living in this generation of memes, and we are just reading the titles and just seeing the picture and the title and so on, and then we are passing the information. So then we are the source of the fake news somehow.
Yeah.
So maybe not directly, but somehow we are involved in the process of this fake news production. Let's say that it also.
Okay, that brings up also the question of responsibility. Who is responsible in creating or passing fake news? All of us?
Everybody.
But media.
You wanted to say a long time ago, maybe it's not related to that.
Yes. I want to say that continuing the argument that I've been hearing is that probably it's not about how we discover fake news, but first to realize how difficult today is to not realize if we turn the question. Because as far as I'm concerned, when talking about a serious issue, and let's say this thing was a serious issue for the local community, how can you fact check it? Every source, every official source shows the same thing, and you cannot fact check it because you cannot find the protagonists. You cannot find the lady, you cannot find the husband. So how could you fact check it? So you cannot say
But
that it's
do you
fake.
think it would be possible to fact check it? I mean, they were fact checking it later on.
They were trying to. Yeah, how can you be sure?
How can you be sure that she has 10 babies?
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody,
And how you can,
I'm sorry.
nobody talk with them. They all talk with each other, but nobody talked with people who rumors are about. And they didn't ask them if it's true. They just like hope of them and like talking and were so expressed about it that they didn't have the person, the couple didn't have space to tell them everything and anything.
So maybe they would have said something, but nobody was asking. Did you want to say something?
Yeah, I mean, for the 10 babies specifically, I think it's a bit of exaggeration, right? So this was like an extreme situation. So if it's that extreme, I guess that we can also use our like common sense. I think it's not easy for a woman to carry like 10 babies. Yes.
Okay, I have to just reveal at this moment that actually it was real news and it got up till 10. Nobody was ever checking if the babies were born. There was no babies born. They donated money, it went international, and the original news that we were using was the correction. That they said, sorry, a couple of weeks ago we were reporting this, that it's going to be a Guinness record, because it has never happened before, but we revealed now, we got to know that it was fake. Garden and Andrea?
In Norway, there is this fact checker thing owned by the biggest media corporations, which is of course checking it for the good things for the big media. But there have also been started to be fact checking of the fact checkers. So alternative media started to do that job, and that's so interesting to see. For example, something was changed in something, and then the fact checkers interview some person from this organization. Is it true? And then this person, no, it's not true.
Are
And
these
then,
paid people or volunteers?
this is it's a voluntarily run organization. It is not. I mean, say it shouldn't go in plus, but it's this big media houses which is giving money into it. So it's they who owns it. And then the fact checkers said that, okay, let's go to the source. Yes, it's changed. And then it doesn't really matter if they interview someone who is saying that this is changed or not, but you can see black and white here is old text, this is new, it's changed.
Okay, so there are some initiatives, there are some pages. You can go back and track it back, or you can read it, what is behind, and maybe make comparisons with other ones. Andrea?
I was just going to say that there was the exact same story a couple of weeks ago with a woman in South Africa who had given birth to 10 babies, again with the world record on the BBC. And I just went on the link now, and there's an update. This is not true.
The same story. Again. Actually, this happened in South Africa. We just put it to another place because we wanted to make it closer because it's impossible. Yeah.
We also have these fact checkers that God said about. But the difference between the fact checkers and the fake news is that the fact checkers, they wrote more, and you have to read more. And the fake news, blah, 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 10 kids, and that's it. And it's more easy to read and more easy to believe. That's the main issue, I think. And
so easier access.
Exactly. And I wanted to say that, I don't know if you thought about it, but it's nice to see, it was nice to see that the woman didn't have any kind of lie. I mean, she never spoke. And I thought that was interesting touch.
Yeah, she had just faces and then the shadow. Boyko, and then would you like to add something?
Well, talking about fake news is one thing, and there can be some small actions with the fact checking and so on. But for me, the problem is much bigger, and it's in fact allowing the environment where fake news can flourish, which. So we are also part of it, but of course not just us, because we can think of fact checkers and some secondary work, but the fake newsers will be always faster. So we need to try somehow to get in front and not to be always running behind and checking, is this true? 3 months passed, nobody saw the birth certificate. It's like acting ex post, but if we are there, we'll be always somehow behind the developments. So we need to find a way so this environment of the fake news, this complete, it's not freedom, but another word for spreading whatever, like 10 babies, it's biologically not very possible. But so when it's such an exaggeration, it's apparent. But when there are a lot of other subtle things, if they were 5 or 6 or 7, and if we're not talking about pregnancies, but about things that refer to all of us, then things become very, very tense, and we really cannot be always behind checking if this is really true or not exactly true, for example, for the student loans, for some much more socially
you mentioned a lot of good examples, and not just big examples that you were also mentioning, but really other ones that are connected to financial one. Now it was baby boom, maybe it didn't do that much of harm, except for all the donators, right, who were donating money, but of course it can be more harmful as well. What if you wanted to say something? Is it already way far?
No, it was really interesting what you said about home sense, like using our own sense about believability of the news. I think it's an interesting part of this issue because we are living in a world where we are always getting extravagant, unbelievable news all the time. And on the other hand, we get lies and fake news about very simple things, like an old actor died. It's like about 80, yeah, it's believable. And if like 5 different places are saying the same, then I feel like, yeah, it must be true. And then it even can turn out still that it's not true. But on the other hand, if you said that a guy was juggling 3 chainsaws, you would say, oh no, come on, that's too dangerous. And yet it exists. So it's like quite difficult to use our sense, I think, in this way because there are really unbelievable things that are true and really simple things that are not true. And this, 10 kids is like an extravagant thing as well. But if something is said enough times, it becomes more and more believable. So that's why it's difficult to use that sense. I mean, I agree with you on that, but it's not that easy, I think, nowadays.
I don't think it's just about what you're saying for so many times. It's just the fact that the fake news, they are so smart because they are tracking their public and they are using a specific language, and they are tickling the emotional thoughts, of the public. They know exactly where to push. And when you're coming with the fact checkers to those people that they are emotional and blah blah blah, and you're doing statistics, a lot of words, you're not, how do you say, you're paying their attention?
Yeah, they don't care, right?
They don't care.
It's too much for
So
them.
this is another problem.
Who creates fake news? And why are fake news created? What do you think?
To sell more?
Social media. Social media is a phenomenon, is coming on Facebook and created.
It's for money, for who's this pages. People, like somebody who have a page, like a big page.
So people who are posting on social media, you mean? Because it's not the social media, it's creating. But good, very good. Ari?
Maybe the governments, they are manipulated the journalists, and all the media. For example, in Greece, this is happening, and we struggle to figure out the truth. There are a lot of information that it leads you, that is totally leading, and you don't know, wow, what happened? This is truth, this is not, and you double check, or we, I am 42, and I'm struggling every day to figure out the truth. And I find some sites, all alternatives, all information, all discussing with the friends, and this is
So what
house.
this is what you can do, right? That you are asking others, right? This is
Asking others, checking, double checking, or alternative newspaper, at internet, or this is very big to see what is true or fake news.
Yes, I'm sorry, because she was correct. Invite t-shirts. I don't know your name. Okay, and so I think that also fake news are created to get people's attention and maybe to like somebody can just make money with it. So yeah, it's like that to get people attention and make the fake news really like entertaining for the reader. And yeah.
How can you make money?
Maybe with you have a page like a blog or something, and then add like ads on it. So yeah, you're
So clickbait were also
Maybe not as many, but becoming famous just as in the actress.
Or empower. Yes. Empower someone. Hoika, you wanted to say something, but I lost you in the middle.
Yes, I wanted to support a little bit Ariadne and what I was saying before, because when we talk about these incredible things that are true and very normal things that are not true, I think we are losing the focus that we are supposed to be informed, but how? What Ari was saying, how? We can ask our friends, and of course we cannot have expertise on everything. Like now, which vaccine is working, which is not working, how we can check this? It's not so simple like with the babies. It's really how we are going to do this, so who we can trust.
Yeah, the trust, right?
And then it's very easy to understand who makes money, who has the interest of doing so and so, but still, what do we do?
And who do you trust? What based on what do you make your choices or trust? Which person? Specialists?
Yeah, I think you believe. I like the idea about the practicing because we really believe the celebrities, what they are saying, and we should trust like people that know something about it, like their professor or something like that, and not like read what just celebrities told us or the just government, but the specialist in certain like
I would just say that I think that we've gotten to a point where information is given to us even when we're not looking for it. And then with the fact that the money comes from how many views or reads each news had, and then the ads are incorporated in it, journalists And unfortunately, sometimes that happens because they also need the money for their own whatever reasons. But I think they just try to make, I mean, you see that in the play that he had like 3 or 4 different kind of news and he went for the one that was the catchiest. So I think it's just about trying to find something that you know will provide you the number that you need of clicks or whatever so you can get the money at the end of the month. And I was also going to say, I think we also gotten to a point that we're just surrounded by social media and we trust that people sometimes have the biggest following base or whatever. So if you see someone who has 100 followers and you see someone who has 100K, you probably think, oh, if this person has many more followers and many more people paying attention to their content, it's maybe because it's good content. And that's what I was also meaning with the fact that we don't look into stuff. Things are given to us and we don't go and fact check it. And I think that's even more of a problem with my generation because we're just used to stuff being given to us. We're just like, sometimes we disregard it. I open the Google app to search for something and there's news in there that I don't even want to read. I think it's just about how we're just bombarded with stuff, and that's internet, and that's today's reality. And I think we really need to start like training ourselves, at least starting to want to doubt what we're reading, so you can understand what we're actually, what is being given to us. I think that's
like training on it, working.
Yeah, because I mean, not everybody has the wanting to know if what I'm reading is correct. Not everybody wants to make sure that what they're reading is actually real.
Why?
It's just my generation. I'm not saying that it's like, but
I think
because there's so many stuff being given to us that there's no way we can fact check everything.
Education.
I mean, I would say both. I
don't know.
I know many of you are raising hands, but at this moment, just raise hands because we are saying if you have ever liked something that turned out to be fake. If you put on social media or something that was fake. Did it happen that you were sharing something and it turned out that it was fake? Share. Why did you share it? Why did you like it? What are the tools that you need to do this? Yes, Annie.
Actually, I had the answer for Matilda because I think nowadays people are just not used to think and analyze things. So this information is given so easily. We go and we just see when like scrolling we don't need. It's like just chaos. And then because it's not our generation, it's in general. I don't think it's only your generation, but it's just maybe 21st century. We get all information we don't need, we don't think, but then we are scrolling because it's easy to think and go deep and to feel more and to understand situation deep. It needs more energy and our brain is just like this. Okay, and somehow we are making ourselves satisfied because we think that we are reading something useful and we are thinking, and actually this is something that we don't do. But our brain believes that we do, so we get satisfaction.
We go towards the easier way, and then we did our work. We did. We were reading a lot of news. Yes, you wanted to say?
Yes. Related to your last question and what you said, it's not always, I think, just scrolling down. That's the most obvious way, and just finding something like it that turns out to be fake. I think that. Often we are dragged into believing if we tend to believe something that turns out to be fake, it's normally out, if it's, okay, it can be believable, as I said before, it's really good presentation of information by talented hand, probably, or talented voice, or it can apply to our personal interests. Like if I read something that I strongly believe, and I am, let's say, led to believing that from before, I may more easily find it.
It's confirming my point of view.
Yes, yes.
Okay, it feels good. I like
it. Feels good. I like it. I fact checked it a bit. It seems legit, so I follow that. And before, I would like also to comment what you said before. You asked what you trust. Normally. Probably due to my background, I trust data. I search for data, I trust data when I can find it, and usually this is macro scale, it's not micro scale in a small community. We cannot find data about a local pregnancy, but you can find data about something macro. And this is tricky because fact-checking and conspiracy theories can be a road that you cannot
Who
easily
creates
pass.
that data, right?
Exactly,
That's
you can get
if
into
you are
this, but
thinking about
you can
it.
decide. But hearing what the other said also, I think the most important thing is filter. Like, you can trust the source, but you can easily find something fake, or let's not say fake, something misleading from the same normally trustworthy source. Or I find myself often reading a newspaper that I normally not follow ideologically, just drag some information that I want to take, because you can find that data and information even from there. And then, yeah, I think that the thing is that we need to challenge our mind to learn, to try to get information inside, not being with preconceived notions in our mind, but also try to balance the conspiracy theory aspect.
So you also say that training, doing it many times, and also being aware
There's no
of
other
things.
way, especially in this era of information.
God wanted to say, and Anetta too.
They were first.
Okay. Well, from the back. Okay, I don't see that part. Okay, it's okay. Is that it?
It's my turn, huh? Sorry.
They said I should ask you.
Okay. Well, I was in this case. I wanted to say that usually what I personally do is first not believe anything from any place, especially if it has very strong words. For example, I really do not trust the Italian news.
In general?
In general, because they are really tied to politics, first of all, and they use very big words, very big titles. So even though they are official, I always try to look deeper, because it cannot be that simple and that incredibly amazing everything. If it's too good to be true, probably it's not true. Or if it's too bad and too shocking, maybe there is more to see. So dig a little deeper. That's
dig a bit deeper, and don't, maybe there are some signs that it wants you to click on it. Anetta, God?
Yeah, I will agree. I just wanted to point that, yes, we are covered by the wave of informations, but I would like to point this difference in between the opinion and the fact. And we are waved by a wave of the opinions. And I think, on my example, that we are losing this kind of ability, this skill of critical thinking in order to somehow select the opinion from the fact, because also the media started to be very subjective. They should be objective, of course, and neutral, but they are not anymore, and they are on different levels. But it's really difficult to find very objective source of information, and we are losing this ability of critical thinking, and it is used again by the media and so on. So it's like the circle, and yes, someone said education. So I think this point about how, educate the people how to think critically, it would be very important.
So it's not just self-training, but part of formal education.
I would say yes. Yeah. But it's easier to manipulate. Then after that, we also have the national media really connect, like not even connected, but they are like one body with the ruling party, and they are manipulating a lot, and people are believing. So they don't want to check other options, other TV, because they are somehow coded that the other sources are lying. This is the only one which is real and true, and this is really difficult when the half of the society or even more is actually manipulated that much. So we don't want this.
Well, because, for example, I don't know, I'm thinking of my older aunt or my grandfather and grandmother. They cannot fact checking. How can they do it? They have to trust what they hear from TV. And
but they don't even want to check any sources, like different TV channel or anything.
Because they cannot use, for example,
they
the
can,
internet.
but they don't want to steal.
No, they cannot. They don't have the capability to use
for example, but I'm talking about this higher level.
Yes. Okay, I'm also asking you this is a new topic, but I will just ask you to vote. Like, if you, I will come to, if you have ever, because you said you were sharing, you were liking news that were fake. Have you seen any of your relatives doing this?
Oh yeah.
Probably, Liliana, yeah. No? Okay, a lot of times. Yeah. Did you do anything? Or if you did, what did you do? Because they say that
in a specific case, because I had seen that this specific news was fake, I told. Because I heard some, I don't know now who was it, but he was saying this and I know it was a lie, it was fake news, and I thought, no, this is not my bad because they already fact-checked it, this and this and this happened. But he was saying like it was true. And that's what we were talking about before. People also believe in everything, don't check it, and then spread it. And now, because people are hearing and seeing the same thing all the time, so many times, they start to believing. And I agree with, sorry, I can't remember your name, what you said, because I saw members of my family, older members. Okay, they can use Facebook, but they cannot understand that maybe this news is fake. So they share because, oh my God, this something terrible just happened, and they share and sometimes comment and think it's true, and it's not. Because, I don't know, maybe they don't have the capability, or even in the news, if my grandmother is seeing the news, and it's the local news, it should be true. So she will believe it. Yeah. So this is how it's very difficult.
You were taking proactivity, right? That you were doing something and warning your relatives. Anybody else did something at this year? Maybe guard?
Yes.
Yeah, I know that you were sorry.
I mean, not about this sharing. I'm not so much in social media anymore.
Or maybe somebody in your family.
Maybe, but I don't see what they do. It's not my table anymore. But a solution. I mean, RSS. That's one old technology which is still used in almost all newspapers and all the places. It's one logo up in the left.
RSS.
Yeah,
the
RSS.
RSS.
Yeah. So you have to have a RSS reader, like I'm using Feedly, and then I'm logging in there, and then I choose myself what I want to be fed with. I don't let anyone else feed me with what they think is important, or some computer is saying what's important. But then I have like 10 alternative newspapers and organizations which I'm following, and then I can go in whenever I want to check, and then all the updates from their page is coming, and then I can go in and click on what I want to read. So that's a very nice way of feeding myself with the information which...
You are already aware of that.
Say again? That
you are aware of that.
He is already in the smart side. You are already in the smart side.
Yeah, but you understand that you are looking for that. And there are people totally like they are not.
Matilda, you wanted to...
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think also because the media is biased. So if the local news, because this happens all the time, like the director of a media company is in a way associated with a political party, of course their news will be biased and in some way they will be influencing that or be influenced by the political party. So I think sometimes, and I get that what you were saying with your grandma and everything, because I have the same thing in my family. If they are only fed up with this channel and this news, they're of course going to be biased. And then they start formulating opinions based on what is given to them. And that goes back to what I was saying. Stuff is given to us even when we don't want it. And I think this is the era that we are in, and we just have information everywhere, not only in the newspapers and on the TV, but we have it in our phones. We get news alerts, and we get all this stuff that sometimes we don't even want to know about.
So what can you do as person or as community to stop fake news?
Yeah, I agree with Matilda, but I think, the biggest problem is maybe, why? People need to start thinking, especially our generation, they need to start thinking and see that, wait, okay, they are saying this, but is this true? Like, now look for information.
Okay. So start thinking. This is what you say. This is what we can do as individual or community. What can we do as individuals or community?
When I have a situation like this, when I hear from the person something really like, I'm not sure if it's, for example, conspiratory theory or something like that, I'm asking from where did you get this information? And for example, this person is saying, from Facebook, from this person, and from where this celebrity did this info. I don't know the source. Then I'm not talking about the topic because I don't believe that it's true. If you will give me the source, then we can discuss. If you
So
are
thinking, bringing questions, doing some analytics, Alex?
I was thinking that maybe it's possible as a community to actually put some pressure on the authorities and like ask them to create some tools that can be used like to prevent these free information that are coming, like feeding all the time the consumer.
So putting pressure on the authorities to take
Yeah, I really
action.
believe in the pressure of communities that they can, I don't know, do whatever, like a petition, or they can like really do protest in order to put legislation up to the standards of not receiving news.
Okay, so you think they will, Okay, what else as an individual or groups, communities can do in order to stop fake news? Yes, and then
I think so, like, as we have the power to promote the fake news, we have the power to do the opposite thing as well. So, like, we can definitely report fake news when we know that this is fake news. And then I think it's similar to what it has been said before, that like we can make some unions in order to challenge this news. So like, is this fake or not? To have like specialists.
So communities, unions to challenge and do something, maybe not authority, but volunteer groups also doing these things, right? Pretty much? So many hands, guard head, and then Andrea, you keep on going after each other.
The state do have a tool already. They in Norway they put the fact checkers, which is very vast. Which is, for example, the Syria war. Norway have been sending a lot of foreign aid money to the what's the name? Foreign warriors. They're also Al-Qaeda and Al-Nusra especially. And then this helping organization is denying this, and then you have the people who is pointing this is that they are conspiracy theorists, and that so it's really not. I mean, then also the fact checkers or the solution of the state is really not working.
Okay, so yeah, it might be that the state, that it was also other communities or other volunteers to be involved. But because somebody was actually revealing it, right? So, yeah, Andrea.
I was also going to build on what Alex said about pressure on the state authorities, but I want to say that we also don't have to reinvent the wheel. I think what we need is to put pressure to make a change in the educational system and to have it be more focused on critical thinking. Because right now it's not, in a lot of places, it's not about critical thinking at all. And then this has to be coupled with us individually it's about key and continuing- correct answers, not Yes, about like we have to start from there, and then we have to train this muscle. But we need to have this basis.
So
in the
something that
educational
maybe
system.
can be introduced also in formal education, but also in non-formal methods, maybe.
I agree with Andrea, and I think that all we are a part of the system. If I do one like that, I want. I don't know, I like the big hats. I am in love with sandwiches. This data, it's on a big platform. We are all in a big platform data. We are a part of this.
So it's the responsibility of each individual.
I think that we don't have the power to change all the... We don't. But I think with Andrea, critical thinking, and for me it's very important the youngest children in schools to educate, to be informed of this fake news, to have the mind to choose the truth or the lies. This is not happening.
Okay. But the responsibility of the individual is also there.
And I agree with both, and adding to this, I would say that a step more to the critical thinking is like trying to get to the data and think about what we are reading. Because, for example, if the data says that 10,000 people are affected by something, for me 10,000 people is a very big number, but if it's in a global scale, it's only 10,000 people. So yes, checking the data, but also thinking of what the data is saying. 10,000 people is a lot in a community, but it's not a lot in the whole world. So also be more aware of what you're reading and not only find the data, but also take the time to look into it very deeply, especially if the news is important.
How to do this? How to do it?
Yeah, of
the
course.
critical thinking, that is very, very important
Yes,
for me.
exactly.
How to do? How to train me not to buy everything. Or what to buy, what is my identity, and I wanted to buy it because I'm pretty good with this news. What is the trick not to buy it? Because I think that we all sometimes we buy it.
Sometimes, yes. But also because sometimes it's very difficult because I think personally it's not possible to be educated on every single aspect of your life. I mean, I can say a lot of things about art and things like this. I don't know anything about chemistry and science. I have to find someone to trust. But this someone, I think personally, this someone has to be someone near the news I am reading. For example, if I'm reading something about chemistry or science, I have to find someone near the field of science, but also that is not taking anything from the news itself. Because if someone is taking money, spotlight from this.
But in order to choose this person or this source, we have to have this universal ability, this skill of like choosing, because we cannot choose if we are not aware of that.
At one point you have to then fade it somewhere.
Yeah, but we talked about also trust, train whom you trust, select what you are trust. Also we talked about education, good examples that you were bringing, and guard, and also would you like to add something?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know that the training in the English schools in Norway is that to make an assignment or something, you have to go to reliable sources, and that's just the green light, and then you have the orange or red light, which is I don't know who is.
So it's physically visible that it's green.
No, you just have to search it. And then, for example, Steigan, which is a blogger, and he's writing a lot of things. And I agree with something, I disagree with something, and then, but he goes to the sources and he gives the sources. So I really like the way he's working. And then he's a red light. That's a no-go-to place because he is just a conspiracy theorist, or he's just a, let's say, fake news guy. So I mean, there's some articles which might have been red lighted, and then that's not the reliable sources. Then you also have in the, let's say, when writing an assignment, you have, let's say, some.
Is it available in English, this source that you are talking about?
Yes, he has some articles in English.
Because I'm just asking also that maybe, and many of you were sharing really great examples or really bad, but really bad examples, also for fact-checking, also some sources where you can do, there are online trainings available in your countries, and maybe we're sharing it within the group, either in the WhatsApp group or together in a mailing list, that would be really beneficial for the others as well. And for us too, because that's why we brought this play to perform it, because we think that it's a daily reality, and we wanted to discuss with you where is the responsibility of the person, what can you do as an individual, and hopefully these discussions and these debates as what you can do as individuals and community are going to help you also to think it over. Thank you very much for being so active. We really appreciate it.